What's up, guys? I just want to do a little bit of a live broadcast, kind of discussing how I became fascinated with the weather and everything about it and that kind of stuff. So, I shot a video for YouTube. I don't think it was last night, like the night before, and and I discussed my fascination with weather and what and how much I really like it. So, now I'm gonna clean my room today, but that laptop right there is actually a weather streaming computer, that basically just, does a live stream of weather information. So, the fascination with weather is something that I can't really discuss much because I don't really know much. Because it just slowly but surely went like a gradual curve, of what, how I became fascinated and curious about how everything works. I got a couple big turning points that got me really interested in everything. Really big turning points, I would say. One being the fact that, just me being curious as a kid. I've always been really curious of how things work, and, especially how weather works. And basically, I was a big TV watcher back then, obviously. Who wasn't? Obviously, internet has collided with TV a lot lately, so my TV is now just literally paused in Owl City on my Xbox, which is up there. But, obviously, my first real in-depth level was watching Storm Chasers as a kid, and I can't say much about how that really got me into it, because it didn't. I liked Storm Chasers. It was a really cool show, with what they did, and, it really got me, to like the show, but not not the whole concept behind it. Another big turning point was a huge storm went through my town. It knocked down trees. An entire car got crushed by a tree. And I was there. I was downstairs, and we were just watching the news, and we were watching this, and these straight line winds went straight through our town. It was reported as a quote-unquote tornado, but it wasn't. Remember, I live in northern Indiana. We don't get tornadoes very often. So it was reported as a tornado, but the NWS said it wasn't. Even had a path on like a website, but the radar said it wasn't. And I can't say much, but there were other tornadoes than that. So there was like 2 other ones that came in the same storm system. But sup, whoever just joined. But yeah, so the straight line winds came through, and they crushed cars, they blocked streets, they did everything that, a storm does. So I basically, that's level 2 of how I became fascinated with weather. So the third big turning point was I was flying my drone. There's the drone. Just hanging up on the wall. I like showing it off. But I was sitting at my house, and there was lightning. There was big lightning strikes happening a little bit away, and it wasn't raining. It wasn't windy. So we're flying the drone, and I actually have, I believe, footage on a phone that I can look at. Because I actually do have the footage, and I'm not going to get it because I'm going to lose the internet, because my internet's coming from literally right here. So, But we were flying up in a storm. I was trying to get a really cool aerial video and photo thing of lightning, and you know, just everything about it, because normally you can't take photos of lightning, and with no ground, lightning very rarely strikes drones. So we were never worried about lightning striking it, and if lightning did strike it, I'd get it replaced, because my mom's boyfriend says it's not going to strike it. So I have my sure thoughts that it probably will. That's why I never really do it. But we were flying the drone, and out of the blue, I get a tornado warning, radar, quote-unquote radar indicated, tornado warning on my phone. So I'm like, what's this about? And so I keep flying the drone until I hear the siren go off, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I bring it down, and it doesn't go off for a little bit, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I brought the drone back up, and we're flying for a little bit, and I'm waiting for the, and I just get back up there, and sure enough, the siren goes off, and I'm like, well, crap. So I go back, I land the drone again, and I bring it inside, and we're checking out radar, and my mom's boyfriend's looking into why the siren went off, and, you know, there was no watch or anything about it. So we're looking at it, and sure enough, you know, there was nothing. The guy who, they said, the guy at the NWS station, I think it was, said there was circulation in the upper atmosphere. There was no circulation we saw. This was back in, I think, April. So, this is a while ago. So we're looking for circulation. There's no circulation that we could see. No rotation, nothing. So that was a big turning point. You know, I was just like, why the heck? Why the heck are they saying this kind of stuff? And how the heck do you spot a tornado on radar? Like, you'd think it'd be easy, but you gotta look for a couple things. There's like a hook pattern that you gotta look for, especially if it's on the edge of a storm. You look for a hook pattern, and that hook pattern indicates it's an inflow of air. And yeah, and then you can also look at a radar. There's a mode, there's a, what's it called? Product. There's a product on the radar that you can look at, and it'll show you the debris of, so that's not precipitation or anything like that, on the ground, or what the radar is picking up. That's what you can look for again. So you look for that hook, the debris on that mode, and then you look for rotation on the radar. You look at velocity data on the radar, that kind of stuff. It's pretty boring sounding, I know, but like that's, if I can't set my exposure on my phone. But yeah, that's like a bunch of stuff that you can look at to indicate a tornado on a radar. And that's usually how, you know, things get. But on the programs that I use on my computer, you can look. It'll just show you a meso. There's a meso circulation happening there, and so it picks it up on its own. That's helpful. But yeah, that's a bunch of turning points. There's not much else to say except for the fact that there was one day that it was, I forget what they're called, but they're like really wavy looking like pockets of cloud, and I remember I've never seen it before. It's like it picked up the Lake Michigan, you know how like waves. It's like it picked that terrain up. Well, I say terrain, but it's the waves. But like it took a moment of that and just lifted up in the atmosphere, and it just stayed like that. And that so, and those were really, it was really cool looking, and those were my favorite cloud. But that was another one. Yeah, so there's a lot. But I've just recently got back into broadcasting. I've been watching a lot more of news stations and how they broadcast tornadoes and how they watch tornadoes and how they continue watching these tornadoes. And basically, it's getting me more into the fact of storm chasing and everything about that, because I'd love for one day to be a storm chaser, to be chasing these storms down and looking at the severity and everything about that. And that's one of my dream things to do. So most likely, this is what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking job-wise to be a journalist, and that seems like a good job for me. But the thing is, interested in all these things, you know, it'd be a big help, you know. Just being a storm spotter in particular, which I'm in a training phase right now. Which if anyone out there is probably a storm spotter, they'll be like, your training probably lasts for just a day. Blah, blah, blah. I'm doing internet training right now, so it's like, I'm not being trained by a trained spotter or anything like that. I'm doing internet training, which just prepares me for whatever. Yeah. I just need to, that's what got me into it. I'm really interested in everything, and reporting weather is always really fun to me. And then, like, having the separate computer here, which again you can't really see, but you see the lights right there? Yeah, so that second computer. And then, like, so that gets me more into the live broadcasting part of it. Then helping people. That's, I always been interested in helping people, so that helps. My feed of curiosity. That kind of stuff. It's just like, you know, and then I'm interested in video work, so, you know, taking video of tornadoes, which, by the way, if you're wondering why everyone takes videos of tornadoes, you know, just, oh, they only do it because they're cool. Well, the big part of it is the National Weather Service and scientists behind researching these tornadoes, they still don't know much about how they form. Well, they know a ton about how they form and how they do everything. But radar feeds can't see below, much below 10,000 feet. Because of the wavelengths, they can't see the ground, like the ground portion of it, the part that is you know, that's the part that they really want to look at to see, because the ground part is what destroys everything. I mean, obviously the top contributes to the tornado, but the ground doesn't, you know, they can't look at that part with radar, so they can't really see much. Well, what you do, this is where storm chasers and these scientists behind storm chasers, they develop these pods for data from, you know, the base of the tornado, and video, and so this is a big part. Video work of tornadoes is a big part of the research, because the video shows the base of the tornado, and since they can't see the radar, they obviously have to rely on visuals, and the visuals, I guess, help out a lot in the research. So if they can get nice, clean video of a tornado, this is where it comes into play. So that's why tornadoes are good for. Storm chasers are good for tornadoes. I saw someone just came on his live stream and just left. Like, he's talking about tornadoes. Goodbye. I'm leaving. Yeah, that's it. I can't really say much more, except it was nice talking about it. Just to get the story out of how I became interested in storms and chasing and weather and stuff like that. I need to clean my room now, because you can see it's awful. Awful. Again, I'm looking around my room thinking that I'm going to find something to talk about. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed my little story. I mean, we can go disco party up in here, but, you know, it's like, it's bad. I look at bubbles and I can't really pop them though. Like, but yeah, I'm on normal. Get out of here. So, yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys whenever. Bye.